Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And that's your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. I hope you liked my two-part explanation of the new Georgia voting law changes, which are extremely fair and reasonable. This is kind of a tie-in with that from a Fox Business. Georgia House votes to strip Delta of tax break after CEO criticized voting law. Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian called Georgia's new voting law unacceptable. You didn't even read the damn thing? Here's the deal. These huge companies know that conservative people, Republicans, don't do boycotts. They don't do the cancel culture crap. So what they're doing is, we better get in front of this quick before we get canceled and called on it. These people are such cowards. It's so ridiculous. Then you hear the Apple CEO, major companies condemn new Georgia voting law. Oh, God. Apple CEO Tim Cook. You know what? It's none of your effing business. God, these guys are such pussies. I mean, did they even have any clue what was even in the law? I read a lot of it. It's very fair. Very fair. Why? Because some Democrat somewhere or Nancy Pelosi said this is unfair? These people are nuts. They know. Here's the thing. They are scared to death. They know if we go back to reasonable voting requirements and rules and laws that give everybody a chance to vote that wants to, that can legally vote in a certain area or state, the Democrats are doomed. They are doomed. And they know it. This isn't from a position of strength. You don't scream this loud and cry like a 5-year-old if you're winning. Let's read on. The Georgia House of Representatives voted Wednesday to strip Delta Airlines of a multi-million-dollar tax break and a symbolic rebuke of CEO Ed Bastian, who joined other business leaders in criticizing recent changes to the state's voting laws. Yeah, it was a tax on fuel. They got a break. Delta has a big hub in Georgia. The Republican-controlled House voted along party lines and a tax break for jet fuel worth more than $35 million annually, the Atlantic Journal-Constitution reported. Georgia's Republican House Speaker David Ralston acknowledged the vote was meant as a reprimand following Bastian's remarks. They like our public policy when we're doing things that benefit them, Ralston said, adding, you don't feed a dog that bites your hand. You got to keep that in mind sometimes. Delta Coca-Cola CEOs blast Georgia. This is so insane. They are scared to death. The Democrats and the progressives, which are really the same, and social media monsters, which are really all the same party. And that by itself should scare the crap out of you. If all of social media and most of the slime stream media, as I call them, and the Republicans were like this, all one unit, I'd be screaming just as loud. When media and one side of a political aisle merge together and become one, it always, always, always turns out badly. Third world banana republics do that. Georgia State Senate did not bring the House back measure up for a vote, effectively scuttling the GOP's push to revoke the tax break. Some senators reportedly had reservations about revoking a financial incentive as Delta and other airlines contend with the negative effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Bastian and other business leaders publicly criticized the state's recent patches of additional voting restrictions. There's not, even Fox did it. They're not voting restrictions. Well, compared to the rules they had during COVID and the presidential year, yeah, they're more restrictive than that, absolutely, but not from 2019. Those rules were put in because there was a pandemic. It was an emergency situation, was the talking points of the Democrats. Remember the teacher and Charlie Brown? Wah, 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 wah. That's what they sound like. And this, what's even on top of it is you get the two new senators from Georgia. Both are saying this hurts black people. How? That they're so stupid that they can't get driver's license, a state-issued ID, four numbers in the end of your Social Security number, utility bill, a bank statement. I mean, come on. They say black people are too stupid to get any of those things? It's ridiculous. In 78 days to apply for an absentee. See, here's why they're PO'd. I'll even use the word. Here's why they're pissed and crying like 5-year-olds. They want every single person in the computers that's registered to vote to get a ballot in the mail. Send out hundreds of thousands, in Georgia's case, hundreds of thousands of ballots unsolicited. I've been in 5 local elections here in upstate New York. You want an absentee, you want to vote absentee, and you meet the requirements to vote absentee, then request one. And they give you like 78 days to do so before the election. And they have to be in before so many days before the election date. And there's a bunch of other things. Go back and watch my other 2 videos. Parts 1 and 2 was kind of long, so I split them up. It's very reasonable. That way people that are real, that really want to vote absentee, can vote absentee. It's not an issue at all. Then they cut back the drop boxes. During the pandemic, they had them all over Georgia, all the cities. Thousands of them. 24/7, every neighborhood, everywhere. No monitoring, no security. Now they have them in the voting areas. You want to drop it off, you can drop it off certain hours. Cameras are on. You can see who's dropping them off. No problem. This is what they're screaming about. They're screaming about fairness. No. What they're mad about is that they can't pull this crap again. We all know what we're talking about. Can't go into a detail because this is YouTube, by the way, which turned into a publisher rather than a platform. And they know, and these Silicon Valley monsters know on top of it, that if the Republicans end up with the House and the Senate, and then eventually the presidency, they're screwed. They're screwed because they screwed the Republicans so badly, there's going to be a backlash, and I hope it happens, and Republicans grow a spine. It's payback time. Bastion and other business leaders publicly criticized the state's recent patch of additional voting restrictions. Yeah, whatever. Critics have argued the measures, which include a tightening of requirements for mail-in voting and restrictions on non-poll workers providing food and drink. Why they just food and drink in line? You can't go up and solicit people and give them free stuff while they're standing in line to vote. What's the big deal? At polling, you can't give somebody a free drink, so that's voter suppression. These people are so effed up, I can't even tell you. And this idiot sent a memo to all Delta employees, arguing the changes are based on a lie, that there was widespread voter fraud in Georgia in the 2020 elections. Baloney. Or BS. There's nothing to do with 2020. It was a pandemic emergency measures. Like I said, they want universal mail-in balloting. All of the Western countries in Europe have rejected it. Canada has rejected it. All the Western countries have rejected it because the security is too lax. There's too much room for fraud. It's too easy to do it. Minimal security measures, and nothing will tear apart a country or republic faster than people's thoughts that the voting system is just worthless. It doesn't matter if you vote or not because it's going to go the way they want it to go. That is a formula for disaster. I need to make it crystal clear that the final bill is unacceptable. It does not match Delta's values. Values to what? Fairness? the rule of law. The right to vote is sacred. It's fundamental to our democracy, and those rights should not only be protected but easily facilitated in a safe and secure manner. Yeah, that's the point, you idiot. Other companies that speak out against the voting law: Coca-Cola, Home Depot, and Apple. A little surprised at Home Depot. You know what? You know what this is? This is saying, all the CEOs are saying, hey guys, I really don't give a good damn about the voting laws in Georgia, but if we come out and criticize them, you'll leave me alone. You won't harass me. You won't boycott and try to cancel my company and cost us money. So I'm going to say it out loud. Grow a set of balls. Grow a set. This is ridiculous. And this is why they're pushing so hard, because the Democrats know the jig is up. They could never pull this again. What did Rahm Emanuel say, the former mayor of Chicago, Obama's chief of staff? Never let a crisis go to waste. Well, there is no crisis coming up this November and the next year for the midterms. There is no crisis. At least, thank God. I hope there isn't another pandemic. And they know they can't pull this crap again. And they are scared to death. Think about this for a minute. If you're the Nancy Pelosi, any of those morons, they run the Democrat Party now, they have turned just completely crazy. I don't know what the hell has happened to them. And I was a Democrat my whole life. I left in 2013 to be a Republican. You went all out. In the presidential election, in the congressional elections, you went all out. Sent out millions, literally millions of unsolicited ballots just floating around. God knows where they ended up. Many of them were filled out and sent in by God knows who. You're never going to find out if there was extensive FRAUD. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you're the statue, sometimes you're the pigeon. All right, got to eat this one. But you can't pull that again. You can't do it again. And with all those millions of ballots, every single incumbent Republican in the House of Representatives won. Of the 18, it was 17, 18 was my district. I live in New York 22 in upstate New York. 18 districts that were 50-50, purple they call them. Every single one of those went Republican. There's only a 5-seat majority in the House for the Democrats. And if you look at the numbers, you take certain states like Arizona and some of the swing states, they won by tiny, tiny margins in the presidential election. What was it? Out of almost 3 million cast in Arizona, they won by less than 11,000. It was less than 1% in Pennsylvania and a couple other swing states. With all those millions of ballots out there, and with all the negative press from the cable media, legacy media, whatever you want to call them, all of social media that censored Hunter Biden's laptop fiasco, all of those people working against Republicans and President Trump, they still barely won and got slaughtered in the House. They were lucky to survive the majority. And that's what all that help and all those things they did. Yeah, they're scared because they know they can't do it again. Their days are numbered. People like the legislature in Georgia, conservative people, Republicans around the country, they're going to start changing their voting laws to make it fair, equitable, and secure. Hold firm. This is the battle coming. That's why they're pressing so hard, because they know if they can't change the rules to their advantage and twist and turn everything to their advantage, they're doomed. And I wish I've lived long enough to see it happen. Until the next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.